that whites and people of color experience the criminal justice system differently. So that if you're black, you're more likely to be pulled over or searched or arrested. We cannot simply turn away and dismiss those in peaceful protest as discrimination or paranoid.
Mr. Obama eulogized the 5 officers, but he also brought into the room the memory of the 2 men killed by police this month, who were the reason for the Dallas protest.
But even those who dislike the phrase Black Lives Matter, surely we should be able to hear the pain of Alton Sterling's family. Just as we should hear the students and co-workers describe their affection for Philando Castile as a gentle soul.
As a nation, Mr. Obama said, we ask too much of police and not enough of ourselves.
As a society, we choose to underinvest in decent schools. We allow poverty to fester so that entire neighborhoods offer no prospect for gainful employment. We refuse to fund drug treatment and mental health programs. We flood communities with so many guns that it is easier for a teenager to buy a Glock than get his hands on a computer or even a book. And then we tell the police, you're a social worker, you're the parent, you're the teacher, you're the drug counselor. We tell them to keep those neighborhoods in check at all costs and do so without causing any political blowback or inconvenience. Don't make a mistake that might disturb our own peace of mind. And then we feign surprise when periodically the tensions boil over.
The president said we must reject despair. We are not as divided as we seem. Manuel Bojorquez has more from the service.
There were 5 empty seats at the memorial, each holding an American flag, representing the officers who were killed. Dallas Mayor Mike Pence.
We realize that our pain is your pain. You want to do what we want to do. Honor the lives of these 5 officers. Warren Aarons, Michael Kroll, Michael Smith, Brent Thompson, Patricio Zamarripa.
The mayor also praised Chief David Brown for his leadership in the wake of the tragedy.
He represents not only Dallas, but police officers, police chiefs, this higher calling across the United States of America.
Chief Brown, known for never being at a loss for words, today decided to use lyrics from a Stevie Wonder song to honor the officers.
We all know sometimes life's hate and troubles can make you wish you were born in another time and place. But you can bet your lifetimes that, and twice as double, that God knew exactly where he wanted you to be placed.
The theme of the service was unity. Former President George W. Bush, who lives in Dallas, only miles from where the attack happened, directly addressed the fallen officers' families.
Your loss is unfair. We cannot explain it. We can't stand beside you and share your grief. And we can't pray that God will comfort you with a hope deeper than sorrow and stronger than death.
He also acknowledged their sacrifice.
But they went where duty called. They defended us, even to the end. They finished well. We will not forget what they did for us.
President Obama met privately with families of the fallen officers after today's service. Scott families will now begin the process of burying their loved ones. The first 2 funerals are tomorrow.
We continue this evening to look at the events in Dallas with Alan Binder of the New York Times, who is in Dallas, and Peter Baker, of the New York Times, who is here in New York.
You could see, I think, the emotion on his face today in that speech, and I think that if you talk to people who see him every day, these are the moments that really trouble him, that haunt him. To some extent, they're beyond his control, and to some extent, obviously, they're a function of larger forces that he has failed to tame. But you know, they weigh on him, and they probably would on any president.
Also this evening, Bill Bratton, the police commissioner of the New York Police Department.
I'm the most optimistic person in America. I get up every morning and just say, what a beautiful day. I like challenge, and I see crises as opportunity to address challenges. The crises in America today around issues of race, violence, terrorism, we're going to see more of these acts, unfortunately, in the near term, because we have the dual propellant of terrorism. We saw that in Orlando, San Bernardino. We have Aurora. We have what just happened in Dallas. The multiplicity of motivations, there's going to be more of it, unfortunately. But with that, out of that comes the opportunity to have frank discussions about implicit bias, about race in America, about terrorism and the concerns that Muslims have.
And we conclude this evening with Calvin Trillin, whose new book is called Jackson 1964, 5 Decades of Reporting on Race.
I think that what happened in Dallas made me think of how fragile everything is. Just take one guy. Because in a way, what was happening in Dallas was something that was wonderfully American. There were the cops protecting peaceful demonstrators who were demonstrating against the behavior of the cops, and that is almost textbook of what free speech and democracy is supposed to be, and one guy can stop it. I think that the difference is what the African American community thinks about, and they thought it then and they think it now, is that there's something in the culture of the police and it's systemic rather than just one guy who got scared or shot too fast.
A conversation about Dallas and race from the president and many others. Next. Funding for Charlie Rose is provided by the following.
But how many times has he fought in the last 2 years?
We only fought once.
Yeah.
But that was, this was
sad.
It is a little bit, but he's rebounded from it. I mean, he rebounded from it and beat Oven St. Preux,
And
top
by doing
6
so,
guy
I provide
on short notice. And a lot of people criticize the performance, but all the pressure that he went through, the personal problems, the legal issues, I think there's going to be a certain amount of hesitancy, and it's going to take a while to be comfortable. There's a reason why people want more money fights before big fights.
It's fascinating to me that
We begin this evening
I
with
think
President Obama's
this speaks to
speech in
you
Dallas.
seeing why it's so
5 police
successful.
officers were killed last Thursday by a racially motivated gunman whose shootings followed the killing of 2 black men by police officers in Louisiana and Minnesota. The president urged the nation to meet the challenge of this difficult moment.
I've seen how inadequate words can be in bringing about lasting change. I've seen how inadequate my own words have been. And so I'm reminded of a passage in John's Gospel. Let us love not with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. If we're to sustain the unity we need to get through these difficult times, if we are to honor these 5 outstanding officers who we lost, then we will need to act on the truths that we know. And that's not easy. It makes us uncomfortable. But we're going to have to be honest with each other and ourselves.
President George W. Bush also spoke at the memorial.
Sometimes it seems like the forces pulling us apart are stronger than the forces